Tornado. Hello again, and welcome back to the channel. This is one of the better time lapses I've captured recently, so I figured I'd make it into a full-length video. Please excuse the radar pop-ups. My main capture card glitched and lost about half of my footage, so I've had to supplement with stream footage instead. As usual, I'll give a brief explanation of the background environment that led to this event. This storm was part of a limited outbreak in eastern Colorado. An intense upper-level trough with embedded shortwaves was traversing the Rockies, inducing Lee cyclogenesis at the surface. This surface low was centered along the US 160 corridor in far southern Colorado, drawing moisture up and around to the I-70 corridor farther north. Storms initiated near Denver and traveled east, where we catch them north of Lyman. On the right of the screen is our main storm. It's had some supercell characteristics for a while now, but it's struggling. The environment it currently lives in is a bit meager, with low dew points and high surface temps. This has led to the high rain-free base you see, not exactly conducive to tornado production. This will change as it moves eastward into a richer environment. In the background, several new cells are popping up. These will act as nudgers down the line, helping to cancel out the stout inflow with their own outflow and creating the balance needed to generate tornadoes. As the storm matured, I decided to head north to get a closer look. It was evident that the environment was getting stronger, and I didn't want to fall behind. Already, I could see something of an RFD clear slot forming, and a couple of suspicious lowerings to boot. Tiny nubs that may have been attempts at funnel clouds, but I can't be sure. I turned right onto an east-west county road to parallel the storm's motion. It wasn't too long before the storm made its first real attempt at tornadogenesis. It formed a robust wall cloud, tail cloud included. However, it didn't quite have what it needed yet, and the wall cloud fell apart as the RFD undercut it and the storm cycled. This wasn't its last attempt, though, nor was it the storm's strongest. I headed east again to keep ahead of the storm's business end, as several more wall cloud tail cloud combinations formed and subsequently dissipated. A quick turn to the north led me almost directly beneath the RFD clear slot. It was clear I wouldn't beat the storm to the next paved road, so I turned east onto another county road instead. After a brief pause to consider my road options, I headed south as the storm was beginning to turn to the southeast. The storm's right turn was my first clue that it was beginning to become surface-based and potentially gearing up to drop a tornado. The storm began producing a series of increasingly significant wall clouds. It also began showing several individual RFD clear slots along its base. At one point, I saw 3 clear slots simultaneously, something I've never experienced before. Unfortunately, one of these was right overhead. It never wound up doing anything, but the thought alone is creepy enough. Coming up is by far the strongest wall cloud I've ever seen. You can see the main rear flank downdraft wrapping around the mesocyclone completely, producing a barrel shape and giving a clear view into the heart of the storm. At one point, I thought this might have been a wedge, as my actual view was much hazier than the camera's. Not long after this, it finally produced a tornado. I never personally saw ground contact, but it was confirmed by other chasers. Like Pecos Hank before me, I will show this entire sequence in real time, in an effort to combat today's chronically ADHD YouTube experience. I encourage you to watch this segment without skipping, as the vortex has some amazing interactions with the clouds around it. The funnel will appear on the very left-hand side of the screen. Oh, tornado. Oh, that's a hailstone. Probably ought to turn to face that.
You have 2 new text messages. Turn left onto County Road 43, County Road 63.
Man, that sucker's still going up in the clouds. Look at that.
You have 3 new text messages.
Man, look at that sucker. It's still there. Eventually, the circulation faded, but I sat and watched some of the cloud interactions behind the storm, which can be nearly as fascinating as the main show. Eventually, I headed south toward I-70 to get back ahead of the storm, but not before stopping beneath a gust front-induced whale's mouth with the Doppler on wheels truck, just to process what I just saw. As I approached I-70 in Ariba, the storm complex was still tornado-warned. However, it appeared to be transitioning to a linear mode. So, I headed east to Burlington to celebrate with the traditional steak dinner. Tim Marshall had recommended the dish room, and it did not disappoint. After dark, the complex reorganized into a proper supercell, so I went out to test the night vision on my new PTZ camera. The storm produced a couple of fast-spinning wall clouds before eventually gusting out in high precipitation mode. Be warned, there are flashes of lightning that may affect the photosensitive in this next segment. Thanks for watching, and stay tuned for more to come.